Dear students, in the previous video we were considering disadvantages of friction. Now let us continue the same thing. Friction results in the large amount of power loss in engines and hence brings down their efficiency. The wear and tear of the machines increases due to friction, reducing their life. Friction causes unnecessary heating of the parts of the machinery, which may alter their operating conditions. Now let us consider methods of, since friction is having certain disadvantages, to overcome the disadvantages we take care by following some methods to reduce the friction, and some of the methods used are as follows. First one, polishing. Friction between two surfaces of contact can be reduced by polishing the surfaces to some extent. Polishing means making smooth. And second method is using lubricants. A thin layer of an oil or a fluid is used between the surfaces in contact to reduce friction. A suitable lubricant is used based on the degree to which the friction should be reduced and the operating condition. Especially laminated organic oils, compressed air are generally used as lubricants. Third one, using ball bearings. The free wheels of vehicles like bicycles, two-wheelers, motor cars, shafts of motors, dynamos, etc. are provided with ball bearings to reduce friction by replacing sliding with rolling. All of you must have seen when in case of a bicycle, for the two wheels between two moving parts, see, he applies wax and puts the lead balls like this. He puts lead balls like this, so that when the wheel is moving, here the lead balls roll. In this way, sliding friction is converted into rolling friction, and rolling friction is less than kinetic friction, so it becomes very easy to move the vehicle. Next, streamlining. Automobiles and airplanes are specially designed with curved surfaces so that the air layers may get streamlined during the motion and hence reduce friction. You know very well that the front part of an aeroplane, it has it is like this, so that the air, the friction offered by the air, the pressure offered by the air is very much less when it is designed in this shape. So also some bullet trains which move very fast and their front part also designed like this only. So these are the some of the methods to reduce the friction. Let us consider the last topic in our lesson, and that is circular motion. See, suppose a body of mass m is moving on a circle with radius r with constant speed v, suppose. Now tell me, has it any acceleration? Generally, see, here it is given that the speed of the body is constant, but when you come to speed is a scalar, but when you come to velocity, it has magnitude as well as direction. If you observe the figure, see, of course the magnitude is same, but its direction is changing. See, if I draw here direction diagram, east, west, north and south. See, here the direction is northward. here westward, here it is southward, here it is eastward, like this continuously, not only at these points but continuously its direction is changing. So since velocity is a vector, even though its magnitude is constant, since its direction is changing, we say here the velocity is changing. If velocity changes, then automatically it will be either accelerated or decelerated. So actually, instead of we generally don't use deceleration word, we use for both acceleration only. If acceleration value is positive, it is acceleration. If the acceleration value is negative, we say it is deceleration. So here, since direction is changing, the body is being accelerated. So in which direction it is accelerated? In the previous lesson, in the 4th lesson, you have studied. So the when there you considered change in velocity of the body towards the center of the circle, and there you got an expression for its acceleration, and the acceleration is v square by r. Since it is accelerated towards center of the circle, this acceleration is called centripetal acceleration. This is called as centripetal acceleration. Now, according to Newton's second law, F is equal to ma, m into v square by r. So automatically, see in whatever direction, see here F is equal to ma. If you write a vector equation, where force is a vector, where acceleration is a vector, and force vector is always in the direction of acceleration. Here the acceleration is always directed towards center of the circle. So this force also directed towards center of the circle. So therefore this force is called centripetal force. Centripetal force. So this is the formula for centripetal force, and force which is always directed towards center of the circle is called centripetal force. Now let us consider some examples for centripetal force. First example, you see, around earth moon is moving in a circle. So our earth has gravitational force of attraction on moon. So the gravitational pull, wherever the moon is there on the orbit, always the gravitational pull is always towards center of the earth. See, when the moon is here, towards center. Like that, wherever is the moon, the force of gravity is always towards center of the earth. Therefore, the force of gravity can be taken as an example for centripetal force. Now, let us take another example. See here, this is an atom nucleus. This is an atom nucleus. In an atom, at the core, the core of an atom is called a nucleus, and inside the nucleus, protons and neutrons will be there, and around the nucleus, electrons will be revolving in different orbits, and the positive charged protons attract the electrons. Wherever is the electron on the orbit, always there is electrostatic force of attraction towards the nucleus. See here, always the force is towards center of the orbit, towards center of the circle. Therefore here this force is also called as centripetal force. Now let us consider third example. See here in the third example, from ceiling a mass is suspended with a string. On the mass, gravitational force is working vertically downward, and this force of gravity tries to stretch the string. Immediately inside the string, a tension force is produced to oppose the stretching of the string. So here you can see two forces, tension and gravitational force. Now you can hold this end in your hand and make the body to move in a circle. Now see here the force towards center of the circle is tension. Now see, when you observe the three examples, you got some idea that to move an object in a circle, centripetal force is required. So now coming to the fourth example, here a vehicle is moving on a curved road. This curve is a part of circle. So our vehicle is, as far as our vehicle is moving on this curve, our circle is under circular motion only, and to execute circular motion, centripetal force is required. Then here in this case, which force serves as centripetal force? The force, the static friction between car tires and road, that serves as centripetal force here. See here, you are traveling in these directions. So you got a U-turn, and this is a part of a circle, and when you come onto this circular part, you immediately decrease the velocity, you decrease the speed of your vehicle. Why? If you want to continue the same speed here also, what happens? See, all of you have experienced while traveling in a bus or car or in any vehicle, when the vehicle the vehicle is changing direction. See, when you are traveling here, you are traveling towards east, and when you come onto this circular part, you are changing direction from east to north. So we have inertia of direction. We want to be in the same direction. We don't want, our body or our vehicle doesn't want to change its direction, and that is called inertia of direction. So when you are taking a turn here, then a pseudo force. See, while traveling in a bus also, when it takes a sharp turn, we are pushed to one direction. You all have experienced that. Here also the car, while taking a turn, since it is moving, previously it is moving in eastward direction, therefore when it is taking a turn, it is pushed in the east direction only. So that becomes then automatically that vehicle, there is a danger of moving away from the center of the circle. So a pseudo force works on that, because of inertia of direction. A pseudo force works on that and pushes our vehicle away from the center, towards eastward. So when it is pushed in eastward direction, then the immediately friction force comes into play, because friction always tries to oppose the relative motion. Our car is pushed to east direction, So the static friction between car tires and road works in west direction, that is towards the center of the circle, like this. So this is in this way the static friction is necessary to make the vehicle move on the circular part of the road. Now, okay, here what forces are working on the vehicle? Let us see. Normal reaction perpendicular to the road, and vertically downward is the gravitational force, and towards the center of the circle frictional force, that is static friction, Fs, static friction. Now let me write here, the static friction is towards the center of the circle, therefore this force is called centripetal force. So here centripetal force is static friction. Static friction between car tires and road. Centripetal force, the formula for centripetal force is mv square by r. Static friction is Fs. And by law of static friction, Fs is less or equal to Fs maximum. And see why I have written like this means, actually Fs value depends upon the applied force, here the pseudo force. If there is no applied force, there is no static friction. If applied force is increasing, static friction also increases, and in this way, and the static friction approaches to a maximum value. So that's why we write like this. And according to law of static friction, this maximum value of static friction is equal to mu s n, where mu s is called coefficient of static friction and n is normal reaction. And here, since the road is a level road, horizontal road, in this case n is equal to mg. So now see here, so if you are considering now, say this is second equation. Now let us substitute this value in first equation. mv square by r is equal to Fs, and Fs is less or equal to mu s mg. m gets cancelled. V square less or equal to mu s, take this r right hand side, or g. It means you should move on the curved part with what velocity? Your velocity square must be less or equal to mu s r g, or v must be less or equal to mu s or g. So the velocity, the maximum velocity allowed is this value. So also you can write here v maximum is equal to mu s r into g. At any cost, your velocity on the circular part should not exceed this value. Okay, so this can be called as speed limit, and generally at such curved roads, a signal board is displayed mentioning the speed limit. Okay, on what factors the speed limit is depending? Mu s, r and g. Of course g is a constant at a given place, and when you choose a road, r also constant, and road surface mu s value depends upon the nature of the surface, nature of the tires and road surface. So that also fixed. Therefore here all the terms are becoming constant. That's why they are able to display a speed limit there. But now if you consider different roads, different places, at every place the turn may be not same. At some places the curvature is very sharp, and at some other places the curvature is large. For example, suppose a road is like this. Here we can consider two different cases. See, here in case of first road, the radius of curvature is less. Radius is less. Here the radius is more. Now let us look at the formula here. V maximum is equal to mu s r g. If r is less, V maximum also becomes less. It means here you have to travel with less speed. Actually here also you have to travel less speed only. Here also less speed only. But here radius is more. If r is more, V maximum also more. It means when you compare here, compared to this, here radius is more. Therefore, you can suppose here you are restricted to travel with some 5 kmph suppose. Here you can travel with more than that, suppose some 6 kmph also, like that. We have already considered motion of a car on a level road. Then why go for banking of a road? See, there on level road, centripetal force is served by static friction between car tires and road surface. But sometimes what happens, especially in the rainy season, the road gets wet. When the road is wet, the static friction value decreases. So a problem of skidding of the vehicles arises. So we cannot solely depend upon the static friction. Therefore, we can reduce the contribution of friction to the circular motion of the car if the road is banked. So partly by banking a road, partly we depend upon static friction, and partly we depend upon a horizontal component of normal reaction also. by making the road surface making an angle with the horizontal line. Here banking of a road means road surface making appropriate angle of inclination with the horizontal plane. Okay. Now let us consider the forces. First let us consider the forces in the vertical direction. In a vertical direction, the vehicle is neither flying up nor sinking down. It means what? In a vertical direction, net force is zero. Acceleration is zero, or net force is zero. It means what? Sum of upward forces is equal to sum of downward forces. So what are the upward forces? You can see in the diagram. Here n cos theta, only one force is there. Now sum of downward forces. Here Fs sin theta is there and mg is there. Once let us look at the diagram. Actually, on the vehicle, three forces are working. Gravitational force vertically downward, normal reaction normal to the road surface, and static friction along the road towards the center of the circular part. Now what we are doing, we are resolving the forces into their horizontal components as well as vertical components. For example, let us take the normal reaction. Its vertical, it is resolved into two components, vertical component, horizontal component. Here this vertical component is adjacent to theta, therefore here n cos theta came. So if this is n cos theta, this component will become n sin theta, and I wrote here, as there is no place to write, I wrote here. So this is n cos theta, this is n sin theta. Now coming to static friction vector. This static friction vector is resolved into two components. See here, if this is theta, this also theta, as these are the alternate angles, and this side is adjacent to theta, therefore if this is Fs, this becomes Fs cos theta, and if this becomes Fs cos theta, this becomes Fs sin theta. In this way Fs also resolved into two perpendicular components. Now in the vertical direction, upward is n cos theta and downward are Fs sin theta and mg. So here we have written that. So we got an equation, say this is equation 1. Now what we have to consider, who is providing, which force is serving as centripetal force here, that we have to see. See, towards the center of the circle, what forces are there? Here in the figure you can see Fs cos theta is towards the center of the circle. Similarly, n sin theta also towards the center of the circle. So two forces are working towards center of the circle. So centripetal force is equal to, it is sum of n sin theta and Fs cos theta. But formula for centripetal force is mv square by r. So this is the second equation. Now let us consider the frictional force. By law of static friction, Fs is less or equal to Fs maximum, and Fs maximum is equal to mu s n. To obtain V maximum, we replace Vs with Vs maximum or mu Sn in above two equations. Then first equation becomes n cos theta is equal to, here instead of Fs we are taking Fs maximum. Fs maximum is equal to mu Sn sin theta plus mg. And second equation becomes mu Sn in place of Fs. Now let us make the third equation. The third equation we can make n as subject. Let us bring this this term to left hand side. Rewriting the third equation, say. Now we say this is third equation. So this third equation is being written like this: n cos theta minus mu Sn sin theta is equal to mg. Taking n common, cos theta minus mu s sin theta is equal to mg, or taking this bracketed term to right hand side, n is equal to mg by cos theta minus mu s sin theta. Say this is fifth equation. Now let us substitute this value in fourth equation. mv maximum square by r is equal to, here see here actually before substituting the equation, here this also can be written as Here n can be taken common here. Once you see here, here fourth equation, here and here n is there, you can take the n common. Sin theta plus mu s cos theta. Let this be fourth equation. So in this, here in place of n, let us substitute the value. So mv maximum square by mv magnum square by r is equal to n. In place of n, let us substitute this value. And here beside n, sin theta plus mu s cos theta. Now let us divide numerator and denominator of RHS by cos theta. Here this is in the numerator, see, sin theta by cos theta plus mu s cos theta by cos theta. In the denominator, so we have divided numerator and denominator by cos theta. Here m gets cancelled and v maximum square is equal to, let us take this r to right hand side, rg sin theta by cos theta becomes tan theta plus mu s cos theta gets cancelled by here 1 mu s tan theta, or v maximum is equal to rg mu s plus tan theta by 1 minus mu s tan theta under root. Now we have obtained speed limit in case of Bankwood road. Now here, if we substitute, if theta is equal to 0, tan theta is equal to tan 0 is equal to 0, then this expression big then this expression becomes when theta is equal to 0. See, we got expression that we determined in case of level road. Level road means theta is equal to 0 only. So from this equation we got that equation also. Now, okay, see, this is one. Second one, what is the difference between this equation and this equation? See, this is for banked road and this is for level road. In which case V maximum is more? You can easily compare the two equations and say here V maximum is more. In case of banked road, V maximum is more. But here, just looking at the equations, sometimes we cannot compare. So what shall we do? Just substituting the values, we can compare. For example, let us choose mu s is equal to 1.0 and let the angle of banking is equal to 15 degrees. Then tan 15 is equal to 0.27. Then here substituting these values, see, for level road V maximum is equal to 1.0 into capital R into G under root. This is RG under root. So for banked road, V maximum is equal to RG under root, and here mu s means 1 plus this is 0.27 by 1 minus this is 1 value and this tan theta value 0.27. So now this is becoming equal to 1.74 its value, and this is RG. See, now you compare here. For level road you got RG under root, and for banked road you got that multiplied by 1.74. It means here you are getting larger value. So here compared to level road, this is safe because here the speed limit has increased. And next, third one, okay, so for level road the value you are getting is less, and for banked road the value you are getting is more. That's why banking is preferred. Now let us consider, suppose you don't want to depend on static friction. Why you are unwilling to depend upon static friction between tires and road? Because sometimes in rainy season the road is wet, or you are traveling, that is one reason. And another reason is sometimes on tar road or cement concrete road, some sand will be there. And when we travel over the sand sprinkled road, then also there is a danger of skidding. So like that, anyhow, you don't want to depend upon static friction. Then what should be my speed limit, you may ask. Then simply in the equation derived here, you substitute, since you are not you don't want to depend upon static friction, no, so simply in that formula you substitute, in place of mu s you substitute 0. Then what expression you get? That speed limit is called optimum speed. If you don't want to depend upon static friction, substitute mu s is equal to 0 in above equation, and that speed is called optimum speed, and the optimum speed is denoted by VO. Now let us derive expression for optimum speed. V maximum is equal to RG mu s plus tan theta by 1 minus mu s tan theta under. So this is the formula. Substitute